Hey, good evening. It's good to be with you tonight. It's Wednesday night, May 27th, and thanks for joining me here tonight. The thought for tonight, the every night thought, is one of swift justice. Psalm 68 addresses this. Psalm 68 is a difficult psalm, full of a lot of challenges in translation. But there's still some important things here for us to grasp. I'm just going to read the opening lines. May God arise, may his enemies be scattered, may his foes flee before him. As smoke is blown away by the wind, may you blow them away. As wax melts before the fire, may the wicked perish before God. But may the righteous be glad and rejoice before God. May they be happy and joyful. And David is expressing here a longing for things to be resolved quickly. He's calling for God to come, scatter his enemies, make his foes flee before him. And like smoke comes before the wind, it just blows away. And that's the request that David is making here. And the result is that the people rejoice. When we don't deal with things in our own lives, or whether it's corporately as a nation or in our churches, when we aren't swift to execute things that are clear to us. And again, we have to be wise, we have to have good judgment, we can't go off half-cocked. And we have to be fair in terms of judgment and objective. But when we identify something that's wrong, justice needs to be swift. One of the rights in the Constitution is the right to a speedy trial. And that underlies a deeper need to have justice dealt with. When justice is not addressed, all it does is frustrate everyone. Whether it's this horrific incident in Minnesota where I can't understand why there is not quick, at least apprehension of these individuals, whether it's the fact that thousands and thousands and thousands of babies are murdered in the womb. Over 16,000 in this country this year have been slaughtered who are 16 weeks old. There is injustice all around us. There's abuse around us. God calls us to act quickly. And the longing that's expressed in this psalm is David is crying out for God to administer justice quickly. We can't take the place of government. We can't take the law in our own hands. But we can long for things to be resolved quickly. Parents, don't let things sit in your home if you know they're not right. Church leaders, don't sit on things that are difficult, where people are not responding in the way that they should. As a country, we need to respond to the injustice that's happening. Otherwise, we become like a nation of boiled frogs. We just slowly go along with the program. And whether it's millions and millions of babies dying, being murdered, whether it's tolerance towards things that are hatred towards God, or whether we just don't have the courage to be kind to someone who's unkind to us. Those are all matters of justice. And when we see it, we need to act quickly and call upon God to protect us. And the psalmist, David, is longing for things to be done quickly, for the wind to come and blow the injustice away. And no, it won't always happen, and yes, it will remain. But we can long for that. And those of us who have the opportunity to address justice, to look at it, to call for things to be made right, we can sense that basic longing of the human spirit in this fallen, broken world for justice to come. And not for us to execute judgment, but for God to execute judgment. And that's where our hope is. That's the thought for tonight. Rest on that. Pray for God to bless us in a way so that justice will be administered swiftly and we will be content with it. God is in control and we do have peace, and I'm grateful for that. Just wanted to give this word to you tonight. Lord bless, and we'll see you again in the morning. Know that our God is a good, faithful God who does act swiftly on his terms. And we can praise God for that. Good night.